Hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest 8-tech in gaming, and Season 16 is only a couple days away, and with that there's so many changes to the legends and the meta that some people might be looking to pick up a new main, but you might not know what legend to start playing, so this video is for you. But just quickly guys, like I said, Season 16 gonna be changing so much, and some people might be overwhelmed with all the changes, and if that's you, then you need to check out the GameLeap website right now. Over there, our top level coaches are already devising and planning out new guides for Season 16 to give you a leg up on the competition. We have hundreds of guides on the site already, with more on the way every single week. We've already helped a bunch of players hit new peak rank, and you could be the next one. And we're also having a sale right now, so click the link in the description, use code LOVEAPEX, and start to improve today. Now, when picking a new main legend, you have to understand one important thing, and that is your own personal playstyle. If you have, say, a support type playstyle, but you're playing a very offensive legend, you're not going to be using their kit properly, you're not going to get the fullest out of your legend, and you're going to be a detriment to your team. That's why we're going to be breaking down the legends based off their role on the team, so that you can think about your own playstyle and match it up to a specific legend. Now, the different roles on the team are entry fragger, secondary fragger, and support. So let's start with our entry fraggers, and the ones finding themselves here are Ashe, Wraith, Octane, and Valkyrie. Valkyrie can be a little bit different, but we'll get to that in a second. Now, starting things off with Ashe, she is actually my personal main, and she's really good at singling out enemies that have been split from their team or have mispositioned in a fight. If you notice that somebody is off on their own, you're able to use your tactical, snare them, make sure that they can't leave, swing them, and then quickly make the fight into a 3v2 and then snowball it from there. Ashe is also really good for people that want to be offensive and take new angles in fights, because if you get caught out by the enemy team, you can just portal back to safety of your own team, and if they follow you through that, hey, they've just portaled into your team and you're able to wipe them that much faster. Another thing that's really good about Ashe is she's a super slept on legend in the meta. A lot of people don't know how to play against her, and if you really want to be that off meta pick person that's able to just completely dominate fights, Ashe is the one for you. And the next legend is actually another portal legend. This is Wraith. Now, Wraith is my main. I love Wraith, and she is the OG offensive legend. She can do what no other legend can because of how offensive she can be in fights. Other legends are really good at playing split from their team, but they're not as good as Wraith, because if she gets in trouble, she has so many different tools to get out of fights. A lot of people don't like her passive, that's just personal preference, but her phase is just absolutely incredible. You cannot take damage while in it, so you're able to just enter a fight, deal a lot of damage, take some damage, phase out, get back to your support, heal up, and get back into the fight, and you can just be doing that constantly. Wraith has been a very solid stable pick in the meta for a long time. She has lost a little bit of usefulness, but she's always been a decent go-to pick for people. And if you want to be that rock for your team, then just go with Wraith. Now, our next legend is Octane, and I main Octane because I love to have the movement that he gives. These are for the people that want to unlock a new level of movement. His stim gives you so many different options in fights, and when you pair that with his jump pad, you can be tap strafing, wall bounce, 360, no scope, wingman, inspect, clip, throw it on TikTok, whatever you want to do. That is Octane in a nutshell. He's not the most useful to his team. He actually almost has zero usefulness to his team other than his jump pad, but you can be super aggressive, take a lot of heat off your teammates, do some really cool clips with it, and be that guy. The only bad thing about Octane is the stigma that comes behind him, because everybody's going to think that you're a loot goblin, everybody thinks that you're just going to be a solo player, and for the most case that is true, because that is his type of playstyle. That's what he wants to be. You have to be wanting to be the 1v3 carry when you play Octane, because he doesn't really do anything else. If you want to be more useful to your team, pick a different legend. Octane is just his own character. And the last legend in this category is Valkyrie. Now, Valkyrie could be a secondary fragger or an entry fragger. I have her on here because that's what she's used more as right now. I have her in the entry fragger role because it comes Season 16, I think that she's going to be more in this role, and that is why I main her, because she's super flexible. Not only is she super flexible, but she's really good for a team no matter what situation you want to be in. You want to play zone? Cool. She can fly you straight to the end game spot as soon as you figure out where the ring is pulling. You want to be an edge team, be aggressive against people? Cool. You can extend fights because Valkyrie can just fly you back to ring, and you're not going to have to worry about healing in zone as much. She's just kind of a jack of all trades right now, and even though she is getting another nerf in Season 16, it's not really a huge nerf to her. It's just making it so she can't scan people while she's flying. That's not that big of an issue. You're just going to have to use your eyes a little bit more. But if you like being a very flexible player and making it so that you can just kind of morph into whatever team comp you play, especially if you're a solo player, Valkyrie is definitely the legend for you. But those are our entry fraggers covered, so let's talk about our secondary fraggers. And the legends finding themselves here are Pathfinder, Bangalore, Fuse, Mad Maggie, Bloodhound, Seer, Revenant, Horizon, and Mirage. Now, our first legend in this category is Pathfinder. Now, Pathfinder is my main because he's a lot like Octane without being the entry fragger. He is more of a clip hitter. He's just there to be really flashy and really cool. Apart from that, he doesn't really help the team. Again, he's a solo playstyle. And for people that want to play Pathfinder, Pathfinder, you have to understand how to be a good movement player, but on top of that, you also have to understand how to manage cooldowns, because if Pathfinder has no cooldowns, he is just a walking fridge. Pathfinder does not really help his team. He has his zipline, but it's like Octane's jump pad. It just kind of helps every now and then. It's not really a usefulness to the team. If you want to be Pathfinder, you have to be the guy that wants to be taking advantage of different things in fights, like the amount of damage that your team is getting out, or being the really flashy 1v3 machine. But if you're not able to do that, Pathfinder is not the legend for you, so let's talk about our next legend, Bangalore. I'm a Bangalore main, and it really warms my heart to see that she's moving a lot more into the meta, because Bangalore has never really been a standout character. She's always been a run-of-the-mill, kind of middle-of-the-pack character. But recently, a lot of people have been picking her up to kind of counter the up-close battles, because aim assist does not work in her smoke. On top of that, Bangalore is a very good 1v1 legend. This is for the solo warlords that don't really want to have the movement that Pathfinder or Octane require. Where Bangalore's skill set comes in is being able to block off enemy lines of sight so you can start to single out people in fights. That is how you actually 1v3. It's not diving into everybody head first, it's splitting people up into multiple 1v1s. And Bangalore does that really well, but Bangalore is also a double-edged sword, and that's why I don't recommend her for new players, because you can mess your own team up just as much as you mess the enemy team up. If you're cutting off line of sight for the enemy team, guess what? You can also cut off line of sight for your team, and if you need help and they can't see you, there's nothing they can do, so you're just going to go down and you're going to throw the fight for your team. Unless you have a really good understanding of the game, sightlines, everything like that, Bangalore is not the legend for you because she's very tough to actually play effectively. But if you understand all that, maybe give Bangalore a try because she is a great 1v1 legend. Now our next legend is for the Chaos Causers, because that is Fuse. That's why I made him, because people cannot stand still when they're playing against you. You are just throwing grenade after grenade after grenade, and when you run out of grenades, hey, guess what? You have a tactical that you can shoot that just causes a bunch of mini explosions, and then when you run out of those explosions, you have a big explosion as your ultimate that leaves fire on the ground, making it so they cannot stay in that circle. If they stay inside that circle, they are just a free kill. So teams cannot stand still when they're playing against a Fuse. If you want to make it so that teams hate playing against you, that is the legend that you want to pick up, because again, they just have nowhere to be. You cause so much confusion, so much panic, teams cannot be coordinated at all, and that is how you win fights as Fuse. When they're not coordinated, they're not on the same page, they have no idea what's going on, they are just easy free kills, and that is what Fuse mains love to do. If that sounds like fun to you, pick up the Fuse. Now the next legend kind of does that, but not to the same degree, and that is Mad Maggie. Now I main Mad Maggie because she loves to be up close and personal with shotguns, and I like to use shotguns. I love the Mastiff. If you want to main Mad Maggie, you have to be very comfortable in up close fights, because that is where Mad Maggie shines. She throws her wrecking ball, she gets up close, she uses her shotgun passive to just overwhelm people, and then if they try to run away and heal, you use your riot drill to secure the kill and then just go focus on somebody else. Maggie mains have to relish in that close quarter chaos, because that is where she shines. If you are anywhere further away than SMG range as a Mad Maggie main, you are doing something wrong and you need to change your playstyle. There's not a whole lot to say about her because she's just very straightforward. Get in someone's face, use a shotgun, and if that's a Mad Maggie, and if that sounds like something you want to do, pick up Mad Maggie. Now the next legend is Bloodhound, and I main Bloodhound. I have like 12,000 kills on Bloodhound. I love them, and they are receiving a new rework in season 16 so that their passive is a lot more useful. Instead of just the little footprints on the ground, it's going to be a white raven that you can interact with, and it'll lead you to a team. So you won't have to track their footprints and figure out exactly where they're going. You can just walk up to a raven and he'll snitch for you. Now even though the scan meta is going to be going away a little bit in season 16, Hound is still going to be great for people that want to just run circles around people, because when Hound is in their ultimate, they are the second fastest running character in the game apart from Octane. So you're able to be highly aggressive, move really quickly, and not take the health hit that Octane does. You also will be getting a lot of information out to your team because you will have the scan still, they're just not going to be as effective. You don't get the cooldown reduction from your ultimate, and also the scans don't last as long, so you are going to be relying a little bit more on your game sense. But if you still like to be that type of person that's gaining a lot of information for your team, Hound is definitely a good pickup. And the other scan legend is Seer. Now Seer was a good main for me this season because I like to have some crutches, and Seer is the definition of a crutch character right now. Now even though, like I said, season 16 is getting rid of the scan meta, Seer is taking a lot of nerfs. He is still going to be really good at the people that want to snitch out on the rats that are just trying to play for some placement after their team died off drop. He also can gain a ton of information in fights, give people wall hacks. Even though it's not going to be lasting as long, you really just want to make fights end as quickly as possible to avoid third parties. So you're going to be wanting to be a bit more aggressive, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. If you rely more on your aim in fights and not as much as your game sense, Seer is a good pickup for you because he does give you that extra little helping hand with better game sense. It's very hard to have bad game sense when you can just see where the enemy is through a wall. And a helping hand is a great transition into our next legend, which is Revenant. Now Revenant on his own is not a good legend. Revenant is for a kind of duo or trio stack that wants to do one specific thing, and that is take away the fun in Apex for everyone else. If you are a Revenant main, it's not because the legend is good, it's because you want to just suck the fun out of the game for other people. That's why I main Revenant, because Apex in itself is not a fun game. What's fun about it is squeezing all of the life from other players and making it so that they want to uninstall the game. That's what's fun about Apex, and that's what Revenant does. I'm pretty sure everybody has said this at least once when they see Revenant's Death Totem animation. They see it and go, oh shit, it's a Revenant team, because Revenant is no fun to play against. And if that sounds like fun for you, pick up Revenant and take away the fun for other people. Now, the next legend is Horizon. Now, some people might be asking why Horizon's in the secondary fragger category when she is more of an entry fragger right now. And that's because in Season 16, she's losing a lot of her usefulness when it comes to the gravity lift. That is why she was a really strong entry fragger this season, because the gravity lift made it so you could be the first one into the fight. You could be the distraction to help your team get into things. But next season, it's going to be more just of a repositioning tool, and her bread and butter is going to be her ultimate, being more of a secondary fragger role. Horizon is going to be for the people that want to be that kind of weird secondary fragger support type playstyle where your only really usefulness is movement for your team and then also your big ticket item, which is the ultimate. Horizon's not necessarily going to be weak next season, she's just not going to be as strong. So if you want to play Horizon, you're going to want to be kind of a weird playstyle where you can kind of morph into different settings. Going to be a little bit tricky to kind of place her because she's going to go back to being a kind of not used legend. But if you like throwing an ultimate out and winning a fight, Horizon's for you. And the last legend we have in the secondary fragger category is Mirage. Now, Mirage is much like Revenant, where he just kind of exists. He doesn't really do a whole lot. And he doesn't even have the benefit of being a 1v3 machine because there's so many different counters to him. The playstyle that you want to have on Mirage is just playing him because you find him fun. A lot of people enjoy like the little mind games that he can play, and a lot of people enjoy his charismatic character. They enjoy bamboozling people, they enjoy that type of thing, and Mirage is good at that specific thing, but again, he's not really useful to a team. There's so many different ways to tell which one the real Mirage is apart from the clones, and there's just so many different ways that you can counter him. You don't play him because he's strong, you play him because you like him. Maybe try Mirage out if you have no idea who else to play and you just want to play a legend for fun. Now, the last category that we got to talk about is the support legends. Now, some people might be saying that's a lot of support legends and it's the support playstyle. It's not necessarily a dedicated support character like Lifeline, it's just the backline characters that are locking it down for their team. That is why they are supports. Starting things off with Gibby, he's not really as good as he used to be. If you want to play Gibby, you want to be really good in specific situations like bubble fighting and then also helping your team out when they have no cover. Gibraltar is in a really weird state right now because he's just really bad in a lot of different specific situations because he gets countered by a lot of legends. Seer counters him and he will still counter him. Mad Maggie counters him and they will still counter them. And even Caustic, who probably will be played a lot more next season, counters him because you can just slide in, throw a gas barrel or your ultimate and they can't play the bubble. But Gibraltar can still be good for people who want to be a solid backline character and peak a lot because your arm shield is still very strong, his bubble's just not as strong, and his ultimate is still just really good for very niche specific situations. So let's talk about Lifeline, and Lifeline is another character that is getting buffed in Season 16, but she's not going to be coming into meta. Lifeline is just kind of there if your team goes down constantly. She's good if you're in a 3-stack and you understand that you are going to have to revive a lot. And if your teammates are going down in really weird bad spots, Lifeline is good because she can still fight as they are revived. Lifeline is just there to be a revive bot. That is about it. Her care package, while being good, isn't really one that you want to call in some situations because it's just a dinner bell ringing to say, hey, come here, come kill us. So if you want to play Lifeline, it's just that you can revive the Octane 20 times. But that's why you should just play Newcastle instead. Now, Newcastle is my main because he's much better at reviving than Lifeline. Even though he can't fight while reviving, he can slide people out of danger. If your teammate goes down in a really bad spot, he can just take them away into a better spot. And on top of that, he can make so many different things of cover. If you're the type of person that wants to be super useful to your team and make it so that no matter where you're playing, you can make it a decent spot to play, Newcastle is definitely the pickup for you. It doesn't matter the situation, it doesn't matter the ring pull, it does not matter what you are doing as a team, Newcastle can just slam down an ultimate, give you a spot to play, allow you to take a breath of fresh air, and just be fine for a few seconds. Those legends are very straightforward and all have the same kind of playstyle, so you can kind of mix and match and choose and just kind of see who you like better. But if you want to be super annoying and stinky, then Caustic is the person for you. Now, I main Caustic because he is the strongest defensive character in the game right now, and he's only going to get stronger next season. Caustic is for the people that like to play zone, hold a building, and make it so that nobody can get near them. If they try to push your building, they're just getting stuck in the Caustic caustic gas, they're going to be slowly ticking to death, and you can just sit there and be safe for a very long time. Good caustic players understand how to use their barrels on cooldowns. Good caustic players can hold buildings for almost an entire game. And if you don't like to move, if you don't like to fight, caustic is good for you, but caustic can also be super offensive if you do like that type of playstyle as well. If you like to be morphing from defensive to offensive and still being good in no matter what situation, caustic is definitely a strong pickup for you. Now let's talk about Catalyst, and Catalyst is my main right now. I love Catalyst. My name on Apex is actually Mommy's Widow Catawatalist because I just like her that much. Catalyst is not a super strong legend. Again, she's more of just an annoying one. She can have some really good situations, but you're more just annoying people and cutting them off from their team. You throw your wall up, people can't cross it. You throw your spikes, people can't run through them. People want to get through a door, nope, sorry, you're locking it. It's just annoying, and you can really mess with people's heads while playing Catalyst. She's not actually a really good support legend. She just kind of plays that because there's nothing else that she can really fit into. Technically, she could be a secondary fragger, but she doesn't really have any movement abilities to help her out if she gets stuck. Her wall takes a little bit of time to activate, her spikes can just be shot, and the door can still be kicked. So she really just kind of defaults into the support position. But if you like being annoying and you want to be a support, Catalyst is definitely the pickup for you. Now our next legend is Loba, and I main Loba for one reason, her personality. But all jokes aside, Loba is really good because no matter what kind of loot your team gets, you can always upgrade it because her ultimate is just super strong. Especially if you can get her to endgame, you can just swipe so much loot from teams. So if you want to be the person that can gear your team up constantly no matter what, Loba is definitely a strong pickup for you. She's also a really good support because she can be offensive at the same time while still gearing your team up. If they're looting and you need to take an off angle to make sure that team doesn't push up on you, you can, because if they try to single you out, you can just bracelet back to your team and be safe. She's kind of like Ashe without being the one to lock somebody down. You are just kind of playing offensively while being a support, while having a nice net of security. If you like the support playstyle but you hate getting caught out, Loba's definitely a really good pickup for you because the bracelet is just super strong. Now our next legend is Rampart, and Rampart is another legend that just kind of doesn't really fall into a specific playstyle, so she just defaults into support. While she can hold buildings down, she doesn't really excel at it, and while she can be offensive, again, she does not excel at it. The minigun can be very devastating, the walls can be very devastating, but there's so many different counters and way to plays around them. The reason that anybody wants to play Rampart is because you like LMGs and you like the minigun. When you get into those very niche specific situations and you can just gun somebody down with the minigun, it does feel very satisfying. And if you want to make somebody mad because you are sending 50,000 bullets at them because you never have to reload your LMG, then Rampart is definitely a good pickup for you. There's not a whole lot to say about Rampart because she's extremely straightforward, and I wish there was more to talk about her because I do hope that she does come into the meta someday, but this is all about it. If you like LMGs and you like sending bullet after bullet after bullet, Rampart's for you. Now let's talk about my favorite defensive legend and the legend that I main, Wattson. Wattson is so much fun, and I used to play her in tournaments a lot, but she did kind of fall out of meta a little bit because the meta kind of got away from the building holding and more into an offensive style, and Wattson does not really excel at that offensive playstyle. You want to be able to set up your generator, you want to be able to set up your fences. You can still be offensive, but as soon as you're out of those four offensives, you're not really that decent in those offensive situations. Wattson is good for people that want to have some outplay potential because the fences can really be good. If you look at somebody like Lamek, they are super good at using her fences to just outplay people, but she's more of a defensive legend. So she's a defensive legend with outplay potential, and if you like that type of playstyle, Wattson is for you. And our next legend is for the snipers of the support class. Now all the supports can do well with sniper rifles, but if you want to be good in up close situations because endgame does call for it, then Vantage is the pick for you. Vantage has a broken sniper rifle as her ultimate, so it's constantly recharging bullets, and they allow your team to do more damage to somebody as soon as you shoot them and tag them. Vantage also opens up a ton of different capabilities for the type of loadout that you're running because you don't have to use a long range gun. You can go double SMG, you can go shotgun SMG, you can run an AR if you want, but you can just do so many different close range potentials and use her echo to get into locations that you shouldn't be able to be in. She's a very good support at being supporty, but also offensive-y at the same time, and like Loba, she does have a good way to get out of fights if you do have to. Vantage is kind of in her own kind of class off to the side. She's not really a defensive legend, she's not really a support legend, she's not really a secondary fragger. She's kind of like Rampart and Catalyst where she just defaults to support, but like them, they do have strong support styles, but unlike them where they have a decent ability to support, Vantage is just kind of there. She's not weak, she's not supporty, she's just kind of there. But if you like to snipe and be offensive at the same time, Vantage is the pickup for you. And the last legend we gotta talk about is Crypto. Now Crypto is one of the strongest legends in the game, and that is why I main him, but the reason that he's he's not a super strong legend in the meta right now is because he wants to be on his drone and he wants to be doing one thing in particular, and that is waiting until the final circle where his EMP can hit multiple people at once. The meta right now is up close and personal, fighty style meta, and that is not where Crypto shines. Crypto shines on scanning the beacon, getting ring knowledge, which he isn't going to be able to do next season, but he is still going to be good at playing those rings. He just wants to get to endgame, he wants to play on his Game Boy, he wants to EMP somebody, allow his team to get some free kills potentially, and that is how he's played. If you like to be kind of AFK and just kind of gaining information for your team, Crypto is a very strong pickup. He's a very good legend, but he's not very good at fighting, and that is why if you're going to play Crypto, you have to be very strong in your own 1v1 potential, because nothing in this kit is going to help you with that. But let me know your main in the comments down below, and if you guys want to stay up to date with the latest and greatest Apex Legends tips, tricks, and news, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys all for watching. Once again, I'm 8 Second Gaming, and I will see you guys in the next one.